My name is Sherrell Daley, and I'm with the Humanities Truck. We are currently interviewing
Michael Theard.
Michael Theard for City Point Shove Off Day. It's May 24th, 2023, and we're be asking our theme is Juneteenth. So, how are you doing today, first off?
I'm doing well today, Sherrell. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you.
Okay, me too. So, my question is, what does Juneteenth mean to you?
Well, as the president of the 9th and 10th Task Cavalry Association, Buffalo Soldiers, those units that were authorized post-Civil War, and a citizen, a native here as a black citizen in this country, for me, Juneteenth signifies the day that has been formalized, and the final day that people throughout that formerly enslaved people throughout the country were finally informed that they had been emancipated, that they were free, and they were no longer to be held as chattel and property on plantations and to work as free labor, unless and it signaled the opportunity for change and an initial march towards civil rights in this country.
So I see your hat right now. So what does your hat mean? Is that
Well,
connected?
my hat is 500 represents the 555th Parachute Infantry Regiment. The 555th Parachute Infantry Regiment was formed with a group of black soldiers, U.S. colored troop, Buffalo. U.S. colored troop. A lot of U.S. colored troops became members of the units that became the Buffalo Soldiers. During World War II, the War Department started paratrooping services, right? The paratroopers became enacted and activated during that time frame for precision insertion into theaters, right? Well, the Negro soldiers volunteered for paratroop duties thinking it would enhance their opportunities to fight in Europe. Instead, they were deployed out west and trained at, I think it was Camp Davis. It was a mothballed airfield. They were not only trained to jump out of aircraft, they were also trained to defuse what were called Fugo bombs. Japan was floating Fugo bombs across the western Western Hemisphere of the United States, setting the forests on fire. And their known mission was to jump into the fires to help the Forest Service fight fires. However, the classified portion of the mission is that they were trained that if they came across a bomb that hadn't detonated, it was their job to defuse them. As a result, they became the very first smoke jumpers for the Forest Service.
Okay. So how do you feel that Juneteenth is now being recognized as a federal holiday?
Well, my first encounter with Juneteenth was in 1983. As being celebrated as a holiday and some time off from work and an opportunity to go out into a park and cook out. Didn't really understand the full gravity of what occurred for Juneteenth to be proclaimed a day of recognition or commemoration until much later. But I was stationed at Fort Huachuca, which was one of the posts that the Buffalo Soldiers were garrisoned at. And I was there with the electronic proving ground, and the soldiers that I worked with and the people in the community started talking about celebrating Juneteenth and taking the day off and being out in the park and cooking out. And that's the first I ever heard of it. But then over the last 15 to 20 years, it began to have more of a resonance. It resonated more with me because I had the privilege of meeting Doc Myers, who was the founder of the National Juneteenth Observers Foundation. And for 10 to 15 years, we supported him with Juneteenth flag raisings at Howard University and at various locations throughout the Military District of Washington, to include the Pentagon.
Shove Off Day, I haven't heard of it. Have you heard of it previously to this event?
Well, just only in the context of approaching this event, I have the opportunity to participate in a lot of the Juneteenth conference calls, the Juneteenth 101, the Juneteenth planning to celebrate Juneteenth. Basically, I have access to all of the sessions that the foundation's holding, at least most of them. There may be some that, and this particular activity, this event, shove-off day was one that that the CEO invited me to the meeting and let me be informed that this was happening. And as a result, he also invited me to come out today to see what was going on.
Okay, so thank you so much for your time, and I hope that you have a great time at this event. Thank you.
Well, thanks for having me, Sherrell, and thanks so much for taking the time to speak with me.
Of course.
Okay.